in the week and all.
Yeah, Miami is cool this morning.
Oh,
fantastic.
interesting.
That's great.
Interesting.
Manchester,
interesting. How is Manchester this morning? I know we are basically almost on the same time zone. So
maybe we should ask her, is she a Manchester United fan?
Or Man City? Okay, are you for Pep or are you for, what's the other man's
name?
Ten Hag. Let us know in the comment section.
All right.
Hello. Okay, thank you all for joining us. So we'll start off the conversation and also hopefully wait for others to join us so they don't miss out in this fantastic discussion we are about to have today. So my name is Vivian. I work with Meristem Trustees Limited, and with me is my colleague
Ibidolapo Olufade.
He is such a dramatic person. Please bear with him.
I love my
bear with us.
Ibidolapo.
So today we'll be discussing Meristem. We'll be discussing one of our product offerings. We'll be discussing Secure a Future with Meristem Education Trust.
Yeah.
But before we delve into the topic, Dolapo, do you want to give us an idea of what a trust entails?
Yeah, I think before I even go there, I think this topic is really, really important. I mean, this conversation is a very important conversation. By September, everyone will be back to school. Yeah. And I can't just imagine what parents are going through now, trying to, source for funds. Especially when you consider what is happening in the economy.
It's a brand new session. They're paying for new things, books, new set of books.
Prices have skyrocketed already, right? Yes. And we really empathize with you. And that is why we are putting this together so that against next year, you will be in a good position. You understand, by virtue of what we are going to be discussing here today. Okay. And a rather sad fact too is when you also consider the state of education in Nigeria, you realize that over 20 million people, according to the UNESCO, they are out of school.
You see so many people on the streets of Lagos chasing like little children that should be in school when school is in session, chasing after cars to sell whatever it is that they have on their head, either their cold drinks or pure water. Yeah. So these are the sort of things that parents should try and avoid. Yeah. So that's why we have this conversation. So before we start, let me paint a scenario with everybody on this live. So imagine Mama Nkechi, who is a middle-aged woman, has about 3 children, and let's say the first set of children, twins, and then the third rather, came alone and all of that. And she gave birth to them almost back to back, a year difference between the twins and the third child. And after giving birth to them, obviously, you know the ceremony with Nigerian parents and our culture where people come around, they gift people money during the naming ceremony, they're giving you cash during first birthday. So now the scenario we're dealing with, the set of twins are 2 years, and then the third one is a year plus. So obviously they've gone through naming ceremony, they've celebrated all of their birthdays, and they've received gifts from their parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, friends, church members, and other family members. And Mama Nkechi is saying, I have these children that are that their ages are so close. Yeah. And I know that when it comes to school, when it's time for school, we would have to be paying school fees back to back for 3 children at the same time. And I have this money. I'm looking for a professional that would advise me on what to do with this money. I don't want to use it to buy toys or use everything to take them on excursions. I want a secure future for my child. Yeah. How would you advise her?
It's very simple and straightforward. What you can do is approach Meristem Trustees to set up an education trust. And for most people, I think when they hear about trust, they think about trust fund babies. And as one of this is Meristem now even saying that your kids too can be trust fund babies. Yep. People have always imagined that, trust fund babies are the children of the 1%, and we are saying here that, with whatever you have, your children too can be trust fund babies. You can have an education trust for them that will secure their education. And when you look at the number of out-of-school children that I was alluding to earlier on, 20 million people, a lot of these people had parents, benefactors, who were taking care of their education.
And then along the line,
a mishap happened, maybe the death of a benefactor, health challenge with a mom or a dad, and then everything went downhill there. Now, imagine if a trust had been created. Imagine if some monies had been set aside in a trust. And this is not savings. This is not you meeting with an asset manager and then you are putting this is a trust, in the sense that if anything should happen to the person who makes that trust, that is, if anything should happen to Mama Nkechi or Papa Nkechi, for example, the funds are available to take care of those children.
Yes, right? Exactly.
So, I mean, it's as simple as just reaching out to Meristem Trustees Limited, and those funds will be made available to you. So it's an extra layer of protection.
Exactly. Before you continue, Dolapo, please, you guys, as we continue with the conversation, if you have any questions, you have any comments, please make use of the comment box, and we'll read out your questions and answer them. Like Dolapo already mentioned, he already described what the Education Trust service entails. So let me just lay out key points, key features of this service. So in you setting up a trust for your child or your wards, it's not even restricted to your direct children. You could have identified someone on the streets who you believe has potentials, and you want to take care of them because you've read of their story, and you want to give them a happy ending. You know, you can pull them aside, pull their wherever it is they reside with aside, and say, oh, I have identify this person, and I have these funds, and I want to take care of this child. So it could be anybody. So the features of our education trust, firstly, in approaching us, you're coming to us and you're saying, I want you to use your professional expertise to take care of these funds. So the funds would receive them. They won't lie fallow, because I know in this economy, everybody wants their money to make money for them.
Exactly.
And I won't give you my money and then you will keep it in one bank. No, I want you to increase it. By the end of the year, I want you to have applied it to some sort of money market instrument that is safe, that will save the capital and give me competitive returns. So that's what we do here at Meristem. We receive the funds, we invest them in safe instruments, and ensure that it grows with time. You know that burden of running helter-skelter, it's September next month, in a few weeks, and you're thinking, oh God, let me start asking my neighbor, let me start asking. You already started early, you already started saving towards the education. Even if you don't want to use it immediately, you can even put it aside and all of that. So Dolapo, do you want to give us more pictures?
I mean, you said something instructive about the fact that this is not just limited to parents of the children.
Yes.
You know, we meet with a lot of people, and then they have charitable or philanthropic objectives, and they are thinking, okay, what can I do to help 50 kids on the street there and all of that?
Yes.
This is also for you.
You have church members who lose a member, and they're like, oh, this member of ours served with us, worshipped with us for several years, and has this set of children, and we don't want the children to lose out. We want to take care of them. We have instances where communities come to us and say, oh, we want to set up a foundation for children's education. We have instances where employers even engage us and say, this employee is diseased, wants you to. So it could be anybody. It's not limited to parents. It's even grandparents. Rather than gifting out cash to their own children, they would rather set up a trust for their grandchildren. So it could be anybody.
And let me also quickly say this, because I'm sure that there will be people on this call who would say, okay, I mean, I have money set aside for my kids already. I mean, I already have planned for their education even up to PhD level, if you can think about it. But something that we need to bear in mind, and I mentioned it when we started, is that this is not educational savings. It's education trust. And let me walk you through a scenario. So imagine a parent, or even two parents, who have saved, I mean, hypothetically speaking, 20 million for a child's education, and it's in a bank, or it's invested with an asset management firm. And then, God forbid, tragedy strikes, and then one or two people dies, right? What would happen to the fund? The current state in Nigeria is that you will need to apply for what is called probate. You understand? If
and that is stressful. We have clients who come and meet us and say they've been chasing after their father's estate because they want to process probate. It takes a long time, even with connection. And your child would waste time at home for a year, 2 years, losing out and all of that. You don't want that.
I mean, one example I give people is that, so imagine trying to obtain probate, say in 2020. You know, 2020, COVID happened. The courts were not.
Jesus. People were not saying that.
Hello, please wave if you can hear us.
Wave if you can hear us, or make a comment. Leave a comment if you can hear us.
Hello, please let us know if you can hear us.
Can you hear us? If you can hear us, please leave a comment in the comments box. Okay, I can see someone there saying they cannot hear us. Okay, please give us a few seconds to resolve this technical issue.
I want it to someone they cannot hear
I
you.
don't know. I wanted them to go, yeah.
Wait, everything we said this morning, they didn't hear.
You know, yeah, we talk to us.
No, why didn't anybody say something?
They wanted
That's
us
what-
to keep fooling ourselves.
The thing now is, what will I do with this video?
Were they commenting?
Oh, it was after we started asking them that they started commenting.
This one is like,
Are you sure you don't want to discard it?
I'm discard it.
Why?
I need it. Don't have a choice.
So we should start from the beginning.
I have to. Nobody should call me up. Babe.
And nobody came to.
Oh, is it with this?
It's not. It's on. It's not there.
It's not connected.
Hi,
Bless.
welcome
Thank
back.
you for joining. Please confirm that you can hear us, please. Please confirm that you can hear us.
Please, can you leave a comment in the comment box if you can hear us? Okay, thank you, Boale, for confirming. Adebosola, sorry. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for joining back. We are so sorry. There was a technical glitch. We had to end and start the live again. So welcome back. I'm not sure where we stopped, but maybe we should just do a recap.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so we were discussing about Meristem. We're discussing about one of our products offering, which is the Meristem Education Trust, and the topic is secure a future with Meristem Education Trust. So, Dr. give us a summary of our conversation so far.
Okay, thank you. I mean, what we've discussed so far was the fact that one, you have to set up an education trust. And really, an education trust is simply you setting aside fund that is given funds to a trustee to manage for you. Now, the reason why you are setting up that trust would be for the purpose of your children's education.
Mm-hmm.
And the advantage that this has is that apart from the fact that you have liquidity to meet their education needs in the future, it's also the fact that if anything should happen to a parent or to a benefactor or to whomever, right, funds are available to take care of the children's education.
Yeah, education continues.
Yes, and we gave a statistic from UNESCO that tells us that 20% of the Nigerian population is out of school. That is 20 million children are out of school.
And it's so evident with the number of kids on the streets these days.
Exactly. And I always tell people that we shouldn't see this as numbers. We shouldn't see this as another statistic. These are souls, people with dreams, people with aspirations. I mean, these are...
A wannabe Tony Elumelu, a wannabe Dangote that needs that certificate to be qualified to get there. So yes, that's what we've been discussing about so far. So we also stated some of the features of our education trust. We had mentioned that we receive the funds, we invest the funds to ensure that it grows. We also mentioned that the funds could be used for your immediate school needs, and it could be saved towards their education. So let me use future education, maybe college education or high school education because they're still in crèche or primary school. So let me paint a scenario. A family of 4 with 3 children, mom and dad are working in oil companies. They can afford to take care of their children's immediate needs in terms of tuition and school fee and school books and all of that because they are still in primary school, and they want their children to attend the likes of Harvard, the Ivy League schools, and they want to start saving. You don't advise them as professionals. We, rather in Meristem, don't advise them as professionals to pull the funds in their bank accounts with a commercial bank, because we always advise that you separate your assets, what you currently own, your investments and all of that, your cash in bank, separate it from what you have or what you want to set aside for your children. So, Delako, do you want to come in?
Yes, and I was given an example, which was really an instructive example before we had a technical glitch. So I was saying that we shouldn't live this life thinking that if I have money set aside for my children's education, this is not for me. As a matter of fact, this is for you.
It is.
And I gave the example of someone who has set aside, say, 20 million for their children's education. Maybe the money is in a bank or it's with an asset manager. You've invested it somewhere. You're thinking, yes, my children's education is fine. I have this set aside for them. But I'm saying that imagine something happens to you. In
God
this case,
forbid. I know in this part of the world, we always shy away from having
Yeah.
these conversations. You're like, God forbid, I'm still very young, but it could be anything. It could be anything. So it's always better to tidy your estate. It's always better to have a proper structure in place. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah,
but it's
so
the heat
I
of the
was
moment.
I was giving an example of, okay, you have this money stashed away, and then this person dies. I mean, God forbid, this person dies. What will happen? And then on the previous session, I was saying that if that should happen, you would need to apply for what is called a probate or letter of administration, depending on whether
probate, that probate process, the stress involved, beyond the paperwork, beyond fighting and stressing with government officials, it takes a lot of time. You don't want your child idle for 1, 2 years, 3 years sometimes before they are able to lay claim to the cash, the 20 million he just painted as in his scenario now. It's going to take a long time for them to obtain it. We do not want that. So that is why we've set up the education trust arrangement.
Yeah, and so imagine that, okay, you have that 20 million and then you apply for probate for 1 year, 2 years. What's going to happen to these little kids? You understand?
For a period of time.
When you put those funds in the trust, if anything should happen, their education will not be truncated
at all.
As a matter of fact, as quick as the next 1 week, the next 2 weeks, they have access to this fund. And that is the importance that these are. So even for those who do not have a whole lot start somewhere, this is an opportunity for you to grow that fund while also taking benefit of the cover and the protection that the trust provides for you. And for those who already have a plan, a detailed plan, a clear-cut plan for their children's education, this is an opportunity for you to also put that fund in trust, you understand, and know that, okay, if anything should happen to you, you are fine. Nothing is going to happen to you.
Let me also mention that because Meristem Trustees is an organization with going concern, there is no way that the trust will be active that you won't have someone on ground administering to the trust.
Yeah.
There's no way you would not have someone on ground taking instructions from the settlor, that's the person who set up the trust, to pay school fees. So that burden that you have in linking up with school administrators and making payments would be taken off you, who would then be the ones receiving the school bill, would confirm with you, would carry you along with what we are doing with the funds and all of that. But the administrative burden is also taken off you. Should anything, God forbid, happens, it continues like you're still there. So it's a safe nest that you can use to secure your children's education. It's the safest net. You are sure that no matter what, tie and cane, they are protected. That's first degree you want them to obtain, they'll get it. If it's masters, they'll get it. In so far as the funds are funded, with our expertise, we invest them, we grow them, and all of that.
Yeah. So a few weeks back, I mean, this is a real life situation. I was speaking with a guy who was planning to go to uni, and he was telling me about how this whole plan in federal tuition is going to affect him. This is not even private tuition. This is, federal schools, and he was really worried about it all. And when we're looking at the figure, it was over 200%.
Imagine someone that used to pay 10,000 naira on an annual basis now paying over 100K or 250K.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah. So by the time you situate that within a socioeconomic context where subsidy has been removed, the naira has been floated, I mean, there's a whole lot going in the economy, right? And education is a must-have. Our dear friend Nelson Mandela would say education is the most potent weapon that can use to change the world. Education is a leveler, and everyone needs it, regardless of what the economy is. As a matter of fact, when people need education the most, when people need to upskill the most, is when the economy is in a downturn, because you need to skill yourself so that you are able to take charge of the opportunities that are out there. And so that's why we are calling on everybody set up a trust. And Vivian, I would like you to just quickly walk our esteemed audience around how they can start off this service. Okay, so you can start with either, we have two methods. You can use our Wealth Body app. You can either download the app from your iOS or Play Store, or you can go to the web and access it. There's a particular section of in the app that has how that will direct you to the Education Trust
parts of the web. So when you get there, you click on it and you're able to start with providing information, your family name, proposed name of the trust, the beneficiaries to the trust, the amount you're seeking to start with, and all of that. I also have another comments to make. People always say, oh, when can I start? Should I start immediately? Should I wait till my children are 10 years or 5 years? It's never too early to start. You can be getting ready to get married next year. You already know at the back of your mind that you will start your own family. Whether or not you're getting married in 2 years or in 3 years or in 5 years, if you already have the funds, why use it to jaye? You can start now. Start now. Help me add to this, to encourage people. You can, maybe you've just conceived, you have plans to conceive next year, and it's also never too late. Maybe your children are still toddlers, or maybe they are already in primary school, and you want to set aside funds for college because you're able to meet for their high school. You can start. It's never too early. It's also never too late. But we always advise to start as early as possible. Start now. Do not hesitate to reach out to us. And if you're finding it difficult to access the web or the app, you can also send us an email to trustees@meristemng.com. Trustees@meristemng.com. I don't have any. You don't need to put. I don't know. People are always scared when it comes to their monies. They are regulated by the SEC. You are protected. We also give you leverage to even appoint those who would oversee our activities. Do you have any more?
Yes, and importantly, flowing from what Vivian said about the fact that we are regulated, it's also the fact that we have the benefit of being a part of a capital market group, right? And so if we know where we are investing your money, you understand? We know it's a safe investment. We know that the asset managers are regulated. They're also regulated by the SEC. So we are not just the only ones regulated by the SEC. Our parties, our affiliates are also regulated by the SEC. So rest assured, right, that nothing is going to happen to those funds that you've set aside, right? And the other thing you should bear in mind is that Meristem Trustees Limited is also peopled by professionals, you understand, across different disciplines. And so there's a hands-on management of your account with us. You understand? You are going to enjoy the best of relationship. Yes.
Okay, so let's also discuss if the process is rigid. So our processes are not rigid. We give room for flexibility. So say for instance, you walk up to us now, you're like, oh, I don't have millions of naira, because I know the Lapa mentioned 20 million. You don't need to have 20 million before you start. You can start with 100,000 naira. That 100,000 naira, instead of keeping it in your commercial bank account and saying, let me wait till it gets to 1 million or till it gets to 2 million. Start now with that 100,000 naira. Start now, and then periodically you contribute into the trust fund with as low as 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, and another gift we have for you. It's free. The service
I was going to
is
mention
free.
that is one part that we haven't mentioned. It is the fact that it is free. And you would say that, okay, yes, when I go and invest my money, or when I say nobody's collecting any money from me, well, maybe that's true. But you should understand that you are not just saving, you are not just investing. Because I'm trying to let people understand is you are setting up a trust.
You are leaving a legacy behind.
Again, and anywhere in the world, you understand, trust, as well. That is why people always think that it is the 1% who can set up the trust because of the capital, you understand, that is involved in setting up one. But here we are bringing that trust to you, and we are telling you that it is at no cost.
It is just at no cost.
You bring in your money that you want to invest for your children's education. We invest it for you. I mean, you even get value accretion over the fund, you understand, and it is at no cost to you. So
and there are times that, sorry to cut you short, but I know some people always say, oh, if I give you my money, I'm already a portfolio manager in my own, but I'm sure people would say, I don't want you to use your own discretion. Can I also have a say in how the funds are invested? Yes, if you want us to, because of how the naira is these days, you want us to, convert it to dollar. We also have a dollar denominated trust. We have a pound denominated investment too. So it could be in naira. It's not restricted to naira. It could be in naira. It could be in pounds. It could be in dollars. So just walk up to us, and if you think this session is too short for us to answer some of your questions, like I said, send an email to trustees@meristemng.com, or even walk up to our office. We are 28 Gerard Road, right beside Parkview Estate. If you have questions, we are looking at the comments. If you have questions, please drop them in the comment box whilst we get ready to round up. I know it's lunchtime, people are getting ready to have lunch. It's a Tuesday. I know we've been in the office, whether you're working remotely or not, at least you've been on your desk still since about 8, and it's lunchtime. You're getting ready for that eba that you have in the kitchen, or for that rice you have in the fridge in the office. So let's not waste your time. If you have any questions, please drop them, and then we'll round up. So that you want to round up for us?
Well, I would say on a solemn note that as you are eating the eba or eating the rice, please forget to set aside something for your children's education. Please.
Don't forget.
Yeah, please
Don't
do that.
forget that money that you're using to buy 1 kilo of chicken and 1 kilo of turkey every weekend. We can be dividing it. I know we have to eat and all of that because we need to spend, but hey, use that money. It's like I said earlier on, it doesn't have to be in millions. You can start now. And it's also never too late to start. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for your time. Thank you. I hope it was an insightful session. If you have questions, if you seek clarifications, please reach out to us. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Don't worry, you eat your turkey in peace. No Allah. Bye.
I wanted to say, like, with how much it doesn't, you can start with.
I said 100. No, I said 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah. I said minimum of 100. So you don't need to have up to millions. You can have that 100,000 and then subsequently start
So the
with.
minimum is 100.
Yes.
But how do you... Sorry, end this one.
Did people join this one? Because
No.
we were saying a lot of nonsense in this one.
Use it for...
When that one went